Hi students, today we are going to learn about heart. First let's see what is heart. The heart is an organ about the size of your fist that pumps blood through your body. It is made up of multiple layers of tissue. Your heart is at the center of your circulatory system. The heart is an organ about the size of your fist. Our fist size, a heart is our fist size. What it does, it pumps blood to our body. It is made up of what? Multiple layers of tissue. Heart is at the center of our circulatory system. Then let's see the location. Your heart is located between your lungs in the middle of your chest, behind and slightly to the left of your breastbone. Breastbone is sternum. A double-layered membrane called the pericardium surrounds your heart like a sac. Our heart is located between our lungs, middle of our chest, behind and slightly to the left of our breastbone, that is sternum. A double-layered membrane called pericardium surrounds our heart. It's like a sac. Can you see this diagram? Location of our heart. Our heart is located between lungs. These are the lungs. Here is the heart. Heart is located between lungs in the middle of your chest, behind and slightly to the left of your breastbone. Here is the breastbone. These are the lungs. Breastbone is nothing but sternum. This is our breastbone, otherwise sternum. These are the lungs. Inside blue shade you can see. We'll see parts of heart. Walls, chambers that are like rooms, valves that open and close like doors to the rooms, blood vessels like plumbing pumps that run through a building, and electrical conduction system like electrical power that runs through a building. These are the parts of heart. Now we will learn about each one in detail. The first part is walls. Your heart walls are the muscles that contract and relax to send blood throughout your body. A layer of muscular tissue called the septum divides your heart wall into the left and the right sides. Now you see here, this is how heart looks. Okay. Now can you see here this part? This is called the septum. This septum divides heart into left and right. Okay. Your heart walls into left and right sides. Heart walls are the muscles. Okay. Heart walls are the muscles that contract. These muscles contract and relax. Why? To send blood throughout your body. A layer of muscular tissue called the septum. Okay, which I showed you, that septum divides your heart wall into the left and right sides. That is what septum does. Heart walls have three layers. Number one, endocardium. Endocardium is the inner layer of our heart. Second one is myocardium, which is middle layer of the heart. This layer is muscular layer. Third one is epicardium. Epicardium is the protective outer layer of our heart. These are the layers of walls of our heart. Endocardium, myocardium and epicardium. We'll see epicardium. The epicardium is one layer of your pericardium. We already learned about pericardium, which is the protective sac of the heart, which covers the whole heart. Okay, and that to protect the heart, that is what the pericardium does. So this epicardium is one of the layer of pericardium. It produces fluid to lubricate your heart. What it does? It produces fluid. Why it produces fluid? To lubricate the heart. Why it needs to be lubricated? Because it should not rub with other organs, rub against other organs. So it needs to produce fluid so that the heart won't rub against other organs and get damaged. Epicardium is one layer of your pericardium. The pericardium is a protective sac that covers your entire heart. It produces fluid to lubricate your heart and keep it from rubbing against other organs. Heart chambers. Your heart has 4 chambers. You have 2 chambers on the top, that is atria. Atria is plural. And 2 on the bottom, that is ventricles, 1 on each side of your heart. Heart has 4 chambers, 2 chambers on top, which is called atria, and on the bottom there are 2 chambers, they are called ventricles. Here is the right atrium. This is right atrium, this is left atrium. Here is the right ventricle and here is the left ventricle. Right atrium, left atrium. Right ventricle, left ventricle. We'll see what a right atrium does. 2 large veins deliver oxygen poor blood to your right atrium. 2 large veins deliver oxygen poor blood. That means deoxygenated blood to your right atrium. The superior vena cava carries blood from your upper body. Superior vena cava carry blood from upper body. The inferior vena cava brings blood from your lower body. Then the right atrium pumps the blood to your right ventricle. Now you can see here this is your superior vena cava and here is the inferior vena cava. 2 large veins deliver oxygen poor blood to your right atrium. The superior vena cava carries blood from your upper body to the heart or to the atrium, and then the inferior vena cava bring blood from your lower body. Then the right atrium pumps the blood to your right ventricle. Right ventricle. The lower right chamber pumps the oxygen poor blood to your lungs through the pulmonary artery. The lungs reload the blood with oxygen. The lower right chamber pumps the oxygen poor blood to the lungs. That means deoxygenated blood pumps to the lungs. Through what? Through the pulmonary artery. Then the lungs reload the blood with oxygen. Once it reaches to the lungs, then it mixes with the oxygen. Then it becomes oxygenated blood. Then left atrium. After the lungs fill your blood with oxygen, after the lungs fill your blood with oxygen, Then the pulmonary veins carry the blood to the left atrium. Pulmonary veins carry oxygenated blood to the left atrium. This upper chamber pumps the blood to your left ventricle. Here you have to notice there are two things. We learned that arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Here pulmonary artery carry deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Once it reaches to the lungs, it mixes with oxygen and it becomes oxygenated blood. That oxygenated blood, we learned that veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. This oxygenated blood carried by pulmonary veins, where it carry to the left atrium. This upper chamber pumps the blood to your left ventricle. After it reaches to the left atrium, it pumps to the left ventricle. Left ventricle. Left ventricle is slightly larger than the right ventricle. It pumps oxygen-rich blood to the rest of your body. What left ventricle does? Left ventricle is slightly larger than the right ventricle. What it does? It pumps oxygen-rich blood. Once it reaches to the lungs, it becomes oxygenated blood and then it carried by pulmonary vein, and then it goes to the left atrium. From the left atrium it sent to the left ventricle. Now this left ventricle pumps oxygen rich blood to the rest of the body. Now we'll see heart valves. Your heart valves are like doors between your heart chambers. We learned 4 chambers. Between them there are valves. They open and close to allow blood flow through. What it does? These valves open and close. Why? To allow the blood to pass through or flow through. They also keep your blood from moving in the wrong direction. It doesn't allow the blood to flow in a wrong direction. Atrioventricular valves. The atrioventricular valves open between your upper and lower heart chambers. There are 2 atrioventricular valves. One is tricuspid valve, another one is mitral valve. Tricuspid valve is a door between your right atrium and right ventricle. Tricuspid valve open from the right atrium to right ventricle. Now mitral valve, it is a door between your left atrium and left ventricle. This valve, mitral valve, is open from the left atrium to left ventricle. So atrioventricular valves, there are 2, tricuspid valve and mitral valve. Tricuspid valve is the door between right atrium and right ventricle. Mitral valve is the door between your left atrium and left ventricle. Next one is semi-lunar valves. There are 2 semi-lunar valves. Number 1 aortic valve and number 2 pulmonary valve. This semi-lunar valves open when blood flows out of your ventricle. That is, number 1 is aortic valve. Aortic valve open when blood flows out of your left ventricle to your aorta. Aorta is the one supply or it carry oxygenated blood to all over the body. Okay. Next one is pulmonary valve. This valve open when blood flows from the pulmonary artery, okay, to the lungs. Pulmonary valve open when blood flows from your pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery carry deoxygenated blood or oxygen poor blood to lungs. Now we'll see blood vessels. Your heart pumps blood through three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries. Arteries carry oxygen-rich blood from your heart to your body tissues, except pulmonary artery. Veins carry oxygen-poor blood back to your heart, except pulmonary vein. Capillaries. Capillaries are small blood vessels where your body exchange oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor blood. Then comes how heart receives nutrients. Your heart receives nutrients through a network of coronary arteries. These arteries run along your heart's surface. They serve the heart itself and include left coronary artery and right coronary artery. Left coronary artery again divides into two branches. Number 1, circumflex artery, and number 2, left anterior descending artery. Now this circumflex artery supply blood to the left atrium and the side and the back of the left ventricle, where it supply blood to the left atrium and the side and the back of the left ventricle. Okay, circumflex artery supplies. Then left anterior descending artery. These arteries supply blood to the front and bottom of the left ventricle and the front of the septum. Now we'll see what right coronary artery does. These arteries supply blood to the right atrium, right ventricle, bottom portion of the left ventricle and back of the septum. Right coronary artery supplies blood to right atrium, right ventricle, bottom portion of the left ventricle and back of the septum. Now the last part is electrical conduction system. In this conduction system is like the electrical wiring of a building. It controls the rhythm and pace of your heartbeat. Signal starts at the top of your heart and move down to the bottom. This is a conduction system. It is electrical conduction system. Okay. Your heart's conduction system is like how the electrical wiring of a building. What it does, it controls the rhythm and pace of your heartbeat. The signal starts at the top of your heart and move down to the bottom. Electrical conduction system include synovial node, atrioventricular node, left bundle branch, right bundle branch, bundle of His and Purkinje fibers. Synovial node send the signals that make your heart beat. Atrioventricular node carry electrical signals from your heart's upper chambers to its lower ones. Left bundle branch send electric impulses to your left ventricle. Right bundle branch send electric impulses to your right ventricle. Bundle of His send impulses from your atrioventricular node to the Purkinje fibers. Purkinje fibers make your heart ventricle contract and pump out blood. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe. Press the bell icon to stay tuned.